Oh, I'm gonna do the intro first.
This is Fire Talk Radio Podcast, and you can check us out on firetalkradio.com. You can email us at firetalknetwork@gmail.com. You can send us a voicemail at 814-380-9820. You can always check us out live on YouTube and Rumble. Hit the like and subscribe button to find out when we go live, and subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting and streaming platform. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Fire Talk Radio brings to you episode 57. Tonight we're going to talk to you about more Twitter files since the last time we were on the air. 4, 5, and 6 dropped in a matter of days, which was fantastic. We're going to talk about FTX to see where we are standing and how much money to decide to give away. The Democrats want to stop Trump from running and planning to use 14th Amendment, and we're going to deep dive into the 12,000 plus pages of the JFK murder. This and more on Fire Talk Radio.
I can only count to four. I can only count to four. I can only count to four. I can only count to.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back.
Oh man, I found it and Twitch is running, so we're live on Twitch today. YouTube's up. Fucking, I don't think Rumble is, but we'll get there eventually. We'll get used to doing that. But so if you're catch us on the download. You can hang out with us in Twitch now on Twitch TV/Fire Talk Radio. If you go to Fire Talk Radio on Twitch, actually there is a beacon now in the link. We'll have all our links there also to find out where we are, what we're doing, how to get a hold of us, find us on stream, whatever streaming service you want to, therefore and more. Shit, it's been a fucking week.
You're telling me. Oh man. So
I don't. I mean, what we got a guest coming in February, so I'm looking forward to that. I've been actually kind of hopping into her shipwreck, who is going to be joining us in February. I've been popping into her nooners because not really doing anything at work, so I might as well just entertain myself. Um, and she does very similar to what we do, which is very so. I talked about literally the day before the federal government released the 12,000 files of JFK. I said, I want the unredacted Jeffrey Epstein Black Book released to public, and I want the unredacted files of the JFK. God damn, if God doesn't give me one of those two. God. Oh,
yeah, the hard part with the JFK files
so
is
much of it.
there's so many, and I like
And
how
it's
they basically waited until everybody that was involved with it died before
yes,
they.
so everyone that was involved with the assassination of JFK is no longer living.
Right.
I mean, there are people that were alive in the industry, but were not a part of the plan, still here, but the people that were involved are no longer living.
Right.
So,
So, and what's interesting, so a 1992 law basically said the government had to um, release the files by October 2017. We got some of them files, and they were almost all blacked out.
yeah, thanks
Um,
to the CIA.
Yeah. Thursday, Biden issued an executive order authorizing the latest disclosure, with the exception that, quote unquote, some files would be kept under wraps until June 23rd, 2023. So in about 6 months. for possible identifiable harm. What harm from something that happened in 1963?
I think it's more of litigation that they're trying to avoid. Because what family members of JFK, ever since the thing dropped, they were all over all sorts of social media between Twitter, Truth Social, Facebook, anything that would hear them saying, "Well, I'm so glad the CIA was involved in my uncle or grandfather or whoever's relation to JFK had something to do with it." Because we were back then, they were all under the impression Lee Harvey Oswald was in it by himself. Nobody knew what was going on, right?
Yep.
Well, that fuck that. No, CIA had an idea about Lee Harvey Oswald like months.
Yeah, they
To his
they were like
assassination.
surveillancing him.
Yeah, they knew where he was. If they knew where he was, why didn't they intervene? Well, I know why they didn't intervene, because the CIA does not operate on domestic soil. They only operate
Well,
on
and
foreign soil.
some of the stuff that came out was like talking about documents that show the president of Mexico helped the U.S. place wiretaps on the Soviet embassy in Mexico
Mm-hmm.
without other Mexican officials knowing.
Yeah. So
But this is during the like absolute height of the Cold War. Like, is that really news? Is that
no, I think it was more of a distraction. That's what I looked at it as. It was a distraction. Um, I the fact that they extended it, the last little piece that was redacted till June of 2023, makes me wonder if they think that there actually still could be charges, which, or add-on charges, because Lee Harvey Oswald was, I think, was already prosecuted for this.
yeah?
But I think it will have a really wrong snowball, because we always claim, because JFK's one of his big things when he got into office was that he was going to get rid of the shadow government, as what we call now as the swamp.
Yep.
He always believed, he always knew, and had no problem calling out, hey, there's people trying to run the country that isn't our government or
Not
the
elected
president of the United
officials.
States, not elected officials.
Right.
They're trying to run it with their money. And I'm looking at George Soros, and I swear to God, let him come for me. If you don't know who George Soros is, you need to really look up the Nazi within him.
Yeah, that guy is just pure evil.
I
He's
said
like a
that
super
one
villain.
day.
George Soros is Lex Luthor. He's a super villain.
Yes, I mean, it's very hard to distinguish when we tried all the Nazis, right? But yet George Soros is still
Well, and
not
he's even
tried
bragged
for
in
his
the
crimes.
past. Yeah, he's even bragged in the past about crumpling other democracies or other governments by using his influence and his money and stuff to sway elections and to get the people that he wanted in there. And
Well, yeah, most of his money is dirty money, anyways. I will call him a Nazi because he is a Nazi. He was a Nazi as a child, and he never got out of that mindset. There's no way you can have that kind of mindset for so long, um, and not it affect you as an adult.
Right.
It's just he got really creative with it. So
Yeah.
he need,
You know, but going
and
back
he
to
was there. And the thing
go,
is, he was alive during that time. How do we not know? How do you not know?
right.
How could you not know if he was not involved with JFK?
Well, and even going back to the CIA, we know the CIA does some pretty shady shit. Yeah, shady shit.
Oh
You know, just look at the CIA and the Department of Justice, the DOJ during Obama's reign. You know, they did a lot of shady stuff, including, oh, we're going to sell automatic weapons to Mexican drug cartels so that we can what? Track them? No, we didn't track them. So that we can, like, what? That was Fast and Furious. And I still don't understand how they justified it by saying, by doing this, we're going to be able to stop anything.
well, I saw a tweet that I thought was I'm really hoping it was a joke that Mexico cartel kidnapped reporter and imprisoned her and tried to trade her for El Chapo. I'm like, no, no. He can fucking rot. I'm sorry for the reporter if this is true.
Well, that goes back to the, you know, what Biden just did with Russia
Yeah, no,
and
we'll get to that.
the
Oh, we'll
Merchant of
talk
Death
about
and
that.
all
I
that.
forgot to. I even
Yeah.
forgot to put that down.
I
But
still
with
like the
JFK,
tweets where people say, "Well, what do you expect him to do?" It was either him or nothing.
so
Nothing. Like that was an option.
nothing exactly. So the Marine everyone keeps talking about. I understand he's a Marine. Yes, we want to bring all our military family home. We want to bring everybody home. And they're like, "Oh yeah, Trump couldn't get him out." Trump looked at his, even said he looked at his service record. It's it's not that he has very he had a couple really black marks, as you could say, on his record that are not excusable in any court of law in the military. Um, and when they asked for the what's his name now, I can't even think of his name.
The Merchant.
Yeah, when they asked for him, then Trump said no because it wasn't a fair trade. It's not a fair trade. Because he's going to arm Russia. Russia's going to do what they need to do for Ukraine.
Yeah.
And he's already come out and said that he is in support of Russia. I mean, like, literally, he came out a day ago saying that he's so thankful for this trade, mocking the United States, mind you. They're
Yeah.
mocking us in any way, shape, or form. This is not something.
Well, the other thing with that is there's another guy. You'd have to look him up because I can't remember his name. I think he's from Michigan. That in 2020 or 2021, I think it was 2021, basically the same thing happened to him as it happened with this basketball player.
Pretty great. Oh yeah, the gentleman he was prescribed a little bit of THC,
Yes.
spinal surgery for the pain.
Yes.
He went to Russia for work or something like that. Got caught with it, and he's now without his vape, but he's also in jail for like 14 years.
So Biden didn't do jack shit for him.
Because he's a conservative,
right?
Most likely.
Or he doesn't have a big name. There's no end game with that guy. there's no I can use him to prop him up and use him for my own purposes.
Oh no,
With
I
Brittany
mean like
Gardner, he can use her to motivate, all these people and say, look what I did. If he brought him back, he's a no name. He's a nothing. He's a, and but
it's
the
not
exact
a
same
notch on his belt. No. All right.
and
So yeah, because what Biden put on Twitter literally on the 15th goes, I have major announcements also because it's the same day that Donald Trump made his, and we'll get into that. Where he goes, inflation is easing. We signed the Respect of Marriage Act, which, whatever. We brought Brittany Griner home. That's a notch in the belt. Gas
Right.
prices are lower than a year ago, and 10,000 new high-paying jobs in Arizona. He's looking for the notch in the belt because he doesn't have anything to go on.
right, his policies suck.
And before anybody questions, yes, no, I'm not rooting for Trump to run again. But when Trump was in office, he had the better policies that bested the United States as a
Right.
whole. Someone needed to take his goddamn phone away from him. I will make that clear.
Yes.
Someone
Give
needed
him-
to take
give
his
him a
goddamn
dummy
phone away from
phone.
him.
Give
No
him a
more
dummy
2 a.m.
phone.
tweets.
Yeah, give him a dummy phone that goes to a server that mirrors Twitter. So to him it looks
No.
like
Give him a phone, says to his social media assistant, I want to tweet this, and sends it out to him. They go, okay, let's reshape this and then send it. That's what needed to happen. It's not that some of the stuff that that was the one thing about Trump I cared for, is that he was unpredictable. It was kind of that guy like you just don't fuck with because you just don't know what's gonna happen. Like,
as Ben Shapiro likes to put it, he was a hammer in search of a nail. Sometimes he'd hit a nail, sometimes he'd hit a baby.
or put a hole in the wall, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that, because I got into a discussion with a friend of mine from work because they said not JFK. Said I was never ever comparing Trump to JFK, but the two had the same goal, was to remove the bureaucracy, move the swamp, get rid of it. Because you can't. Our founding fathers wanted to get away from the actual democratic process and be a republic.
Right.
To actually have a conversation, to be able to conversate, to be able to argue, to come together. It's not working. This is because the Democrats aren't letting it work. Honestly,
maybe we should bring back like they did in the early 1800s, where our congressmen can beat each other. They get into fights on the floor and just wail on each other.
Congressmen should go back to the way it was before JFK was assassinated. All congressmen were part-time employees, and they must have carried a full-time job in their district.
Yeah. And they can beat each other. Because
yes.
now you're not only voting for who you think knows the best, but you also have to think who is going to be able to defend himself the best physically. So you want to talk about Nancy Pelosi being in there for a thousand years? Well, if
I don't know,
she
you give that woman a vodka bottle, I think she can handle her own.
Or Bernie Sanders, or even Joe Biden. Joe Biden wants to take everybody out behind the schoolhouse and the barn and fight them.
If we were in high school, I'd take them behind the woodshed. What the fuck does that mean?
Either he's going to rape him or Joe Biden is going to get his ass handed to him if he got into a fight with anybody.
Like now, yeah.
Even in his prime, he would have. Have you seen him in his prime? Like,
I mean,
videos of him? The guy was The guy was not a fighter. Now, you take someone like Jim Jones.
That'd be interesting.
He's a wrestler. He's a college wrestler. You take who's the guy from Texas that was Navy SEAL and he's got the eye patch.
I can't stand him at all. What
I
is
don't
his
mind
name?
him. I like him.
He's hypocritical, but sure.
Now those guys. Now you're voting. I'm not just voting for who's right, but I'm also voting for who's going to give the better beatdown and defend themselves.
Who's gonna throw fists? Yeah.
Yeah, who's going to throw
Um,
fists? Like my representative, your representative may have been right, but my representative throws fists.
Your representative may think they're right, but mine will knock you the fuck out.
Right. You know, it's like,
Oh man,
oh,
that means I have to give Fetterman the benefit of the doubt if that happens, because Fetterman I think would
Fetterman
throw a
would
fist.
yeah, Fetterman would destroy Oz.
I'm sorry. I mean,
Even
Fetterman.
even post brain aneurysm
Stroke,
or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah, stroke.
I mean, he's dumb, but he's got brawn.
Yeah.
So I think unfortunately Fetterman would take the fight there.
You know, it's like Jordan Peterson. I watched a clip of him, and he talked about women, and not all women, but a lot of women, especially toxic women. The reason that they're allowed to be toxic is because our society
There's a lot
knows that we can't hit them. And so, like me and you, we have a line. If we're face to face, me and you, we're both guys. We have a line drawn in the sand, imaginary line that I don't step over or you don't step over. Because if you say something to me and step over that line, you're getting a black eye. Women know that, so they'll get right in your face and play hopscotch with that line. And I think it's kind of the same thing with our politicians. You know, they jump over that line into personal attacks and stuff like that because they know that they can't get hit. It's the same thing with Twitter and Facebook and social media. People say shit on there they would never say in real life, because if they said it in real life, not only now you have to defend your point, not only against their point, but also against their fists.
No, I don't understand that. I mean,
But back to the CIA thing. From what I'm reading about a lot of this, and I'm still trying to get news sources because there's no way I'm going through 12,000 pages.
I got BBC. But
I think the CIA let this happen. Like
I think the CIA orchestrated it.
I don't know if they
That is
orchestrated it. They might have like pushed him in the direction, but I think they basically said this guy's going to take out the president.
I want to
just
say
stand back and let him do it. See what he does.
Well, I mean, the CIA and the FBI were working together because, like I said, the CIA cannot work on domestically where the FBI can. I think they made it to where the FBI withheld information on purposely, to where if the Secret Service had gotten the warning when they should have,
right,
our government would have been vastly different now if he had lived. Because in the long run, yes, JFK ran as a Democrat, and I will say he was probably the only Democrat I probably would have ever voted for in my life. But overall, he would have probably turned into a conservative Republican in the end. That is the difference, because it's just how he held himself. I mean, one of the biggest conspiracy theories about the JFK is the fact that he is the only Roman Catholic president.
yeah,
Because I don't really fucking consider Joe Biden a Roman Catholic, because
he's not.
fuck him.
He's a Catholic in name only.
Well, I mean,
Just
I
like
mean, he
Nancy
was not
Pelosi.
allowed to accept communion because he was siding with Roe v. and being upset about Roe being
Right.
overturned. Before anybody comes at me about this again, nothing was taken away from anybody. It was the state. If you don't like the state you're living in, then move.
And
Easy as that.
And as Michigan showed the right of the state and all the damn people that are, for it, my state's now pro-abortion, evidently. So, speaking
Man.
of,
Ugh.
now that Michigan has a Democrat, everything in Lansing,
You're like all blue now, aren't you? It's okay. Pennsylvania's all blue too.
Yeah, but the question is, and this is the thing, there's already anti-gun legislation being proposed in Lansing to restrict the sale of ARs and AR style rifles, restrict magazine capacity, restrict. It's like,
Sure.
oh, fuck. And the thing is nothing's there to stop it.
Absolutely. And also, it's definitely going to be so.
So I don't want to hear anybody say gerrymandering is only a right-wing thing. They gerrymandered Michigan blue.
There's
The
no
Democrats gerrymandered
gerrymander is never been just a right wing. Fucking, I've seen some blue states get gerrymandered to fucking hell.
Yeah.
And I lived in the state of Maryland for years, and it was blue, and they gerrymandered the shit out of that state.
My representative
The fact that they had was amazing. The blue, but he was done anyway, so didn't fucking matter.
I find it curious that Michigan always had, the governor switched almost every 8 years, but the legislature was generally Republican for the last 40 or 50 years. And now all of a sudden, after they change all of the districts, now it's blue.
It happens, man. So it's people, not land. That's what I get in Pennsylvania all the time.
Yeah.
So moving on a little bit, we're gonna slide over to Mr. Sam Bankman-Fried, whatever the fuck his last name is. God damn it! Why do you have a hyphenated last name? You're a dude, but whatever. He's arrested. He's avoided extradition to Bahamas because he waived it. Because he's supposed to be in front of Congress this week coming up before Christmas. But now he can't because he's going to trial because for illegal political funds for donation for Democratic and Republican candidates, misappropriated customer funds, money laundering, bribery. Like the list can go on.
And they're not even allowing him bail or anything.
No, they fucking denied his bail. They took his passports and everything. He is just so you know, he is not suicidal.
No, but they tried getting him bail because in jail he had depression, insomnia, ADHD, which I have ADHD. I don't understand how that's something to get out of. Wonder if I could use that if I get arrested.
I have ADHD.
Yeah.
So I found this 17-page list of political contributions made by Sam Bankman-Fried. There's only 2 pages that went to Republican. 15 pages went to Democrat. Just so you all know. I believe anybody that got money from this dumbass should give it back to the American public because this looks like more like, besides donations to the people that it was donated to,
Make sure you put that in quotes. Donations.
donations, people that invested in FTX should get their money back. One, two, and if you are a political person and you received campaign funding from FTX, you should give it back
Yeah.
because it was stolen.
Well, and don't forget, a lot of his money was cryptocurrency.
And a lot of it came from Ukraine
Yes.
after they got money from us.
Yes.
So that's that makes that even just a little bit
That,
worse.
so the positives of cryptocurrency and decentralized currency is that
Oh, wrong button.
the government can't do what the government of Canada did and freeze your bank accounts because they don't like your protests.
All right.
The
So
downside of cryptocurrency is that we give money to Ukraine, they use that, turn it into cryptocurrency, sell it to this guy who then sells it back to the people that gave it to Ukraine.
aka money laundering.
Yes.
So I have the list up in front of me. So I'm on the just so you can see, I'm clicking on Democrat and or Republican. So we're gonna go over both because they all fucking deserve bullshit. But the Protect Our Future PAC received 1, 2, 3, 4 donations totaling in
What is that? 4,
4, 8,
8,
9. That's what, 17
17,
million plus
27
another 10, $27 million.
$7 million.
House Majority PAC got a $6 million donation. DNC received 500,000. So forth, 400,000. More for the DNC.
DNC
And
is
he's
just
and-
like trickled 100,000, 100.
Yeah, he's
109,000,
trickling the money.
109,000.
I don't know what
To the
SMP
DNC.
is. Or the DSCC, but I think that's I want to
The DCCC is the Democrat something commission.
yeah, and I think the DSC, I think that falls in that same line. And then here we go, Active America, Democratic Party. Hey, look at that. Michigan got some money. She got that
Yeah.
whopping $10,000.
Arizona,
more
Michigan, New Hampshire, Alaska,
Connecticut,
Democrat.
Alaska. Oh, there's the DC. There's the DSC one, the state Democratic State Commission.
Okay.
Arkansas, Hawaii, Illinois, Louisiana, Delaware. I mean, the list goes on. But the thing is, if you really look at it, Democrats did get a good lot of money in there. Over and 10-1. I mean, that's it. So Republican wise, so you got Alabama Conservative Fund, Heartland.
Now, here's the thing. Hold on.
Yeah,
Click back on the Democrats
sure.
because it goes in order of the most money given to one. The top one, Protect Our Future PAC, $10 million. Okay.
Yep.
The that's one amount, not all 4 of them together. Go back to Democrat.
Hold on. Oh, yeah. There we go.
All right. The DNC right there, Democrat National Committee, $500,000. All right. Now click on Republican. Look at the most in the top one. 105,000. 105,000 is the highest.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I granted they didn't get a lot of money, but respectively, give it the fuck back.
Right. And the rest, it looks like Bill Collins for senator, Hooven for senator, Lisa Murkowski for Senate.
Wait,
Cassidy
these people look like they gave it back. Negative.
Negative.
Well, that's good. Good. They gave the money back. Good for them.
You
'Cause
know, but even without giving it back, it's all individuals. Nowhere in here do I see RNC.
nope.
I see on the Democrat side, I see millions going to the DNC, but nothing for the RNC.
No. So
So who's in cahoots with criminals? Who's giving away our money to Ukraine to have it funneled back into them?
listen, I watched somebody on TikTok said that the Democrats are for the tolerance. They tolerate everybody unless you're a conservative and you don't follow in their values, which is sad. It's like, because what? Joe Biden ran on inclusion, wanted to bring everybody to the table, wanted to bring everybody to work with both sides. I haven't seen him do that fucking once.
No. Nope. So basically this guy was arrested in New York on December 12th after his cryptocurrency FTX company FTX failed. Oh, I just saw something. Sorry, ADHD moment. Jump into my head. I saw a news story not to buy graphics cards from third-party people saying, "Hey, I'm selling my graphics card new, never
Yeah,
used."
because they're bricking them. They're sending bricks instead of
No,
actual.
no, what they are is they're from cryptocurrency farms or mines, and all they're doing is because they're trying to get as much money back as they can, so they're power washing the graphics cards and the motherboards out of their cryptocurrency
Ew.
servers and reselling them so they look new. Um,
The thing is, with graphics cards, most people don't know you can only uninstall and reinstall a graphics card 30 times,
I
or it
didn't
won't
know
work
that.
after that.
I
Yeah,
did not know that.
they have a 30-time plugin. Not many people realize that. It says it on the box. So you can only transfer it so many times. Granted, yes, technology grows as it's going, but think about it. You're selling down most of the time. So you're like, oh, this person can't afford anything, but I can sell them this cheaper.
Right.
But if you have unplugged it and replugged it from board to board to board, you're taking off those notches. Who knows what's going to happen? Um, and that's the thing with like the farms. I've seen like videos of watching people. They'll move one. They'll take them. If one farm has a graphics card that went, but has two others, they'll take those two others out and redisperse them down the road, and then get a whole new board. It's good. It's bringing down the longevity of what a graphics card can handle in the long run. So yeah, no, I can see where that's
I was
definitely not
watching
well.
a video of a person that made their own farm out of Xboxes.
Yeah,
Like, just uninstall the operating system in the Xbox. You got a computer, and a pretty powerful one at that.
yeah.
And it's cheaper than buying an actual server or computer. And you just network all of these Xboxes together, and you've got
Yeah,
some major computing power there.
I don't know. I mean,
Now, with the way
it
that
works.
yeah, I am still a dum dum when it comes to cryptocurrency and understanding the
Oh no,
blockchain
I'm
and
in the same boat.
everything behind it. So I do not fully understand how you can still mine for crypto when there's a finite amount and have it
That
still be maybe that's why people are getting rid of it. It's not um lucrative enough
sustain.
anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gotten to the point to where it's everywhere, to the point to where it's like, do I feel shitty I didn't get in it when I should
know.
have in the beginning,
I know.
but I
When it
was
was
I
like
was
a dollar
oh my
a
god, I was so
Bitcoin.
skeptical back
Mhm.
then. I was like, oh, if someone
It-
offered me like here's a Bitcoin for your trouble, fuck yeah, give me that money. Um, but then I was like, I don't know.
You want to, yeah, you want to pay me in something that I can never take out of the bank. I can never buy stuff with. I can never. And at the beginning, the only thing that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency was really thought of was the dark web. I'm going to buy drugs with it. I'm going to buy porn with it. I'm going to buy someone to murder my wife with it or something like that.
By
Because at the
people.
beginning, people thought that it was untraceable.
A lot of it still is. A lot
It
of it
is.
still is.
The hard part with it, it's untraceable to an
It's
extent,
unregulated.
but everything is still in the blockchain. So they've learned how to look back on the blockchain to be able to track people. I watched a documentary on.
It's
I
yeah.
still don't fully
I
understand.
was no. I'm kind of with you there on that. Um. So okay, we got
I think I own 0.000 or 0.006 or 0.0006 of a Bitcoin in my one of my
you own
portfolios.
more than I do because I don't own shit. Um. Since we're talking about cryptocurrency, it will kind of play into I don't know why Trump did this whatsoever. So he had two announcements on the 15th. And I really wish he did the second one first and not the first one.
Hmm.
Being the fact that he decided to release a digital NFT card
Again,
for
another thing I don't understand.
$100.
Yeah.
I'm slightly starting to understand NFT. It's like so from what I gathered, it's like old school art collecting. So when you buy art instead of
Right,
um,
but it uses the blockchain to authenticate it.
correct.
I
So
understand that much. So it's like owning a Monet, but rather than having it hanging in your wall, you have it on your device, but you know
correct,
that you have the original one that was made, not a screenshot of it
correct,
because of the blockchain.
exactly. So I mean that I understand of it. I mean
I wonder how
the
I can
fact
start
that I
just making
mean
my own NFTs and selling them. I don't understand the concept to create the blockchain to it so that people can.
I've I guess I'm not one for coding. My fingers hurt too much just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Um,
We need Andy for that. Andy's good at describing that.
no, he does sequel, which is
Right, but I mean,
the
when we
whole
talked about Bitcoin and stuff before, he was pretty good at
yeah, yeah,
because he
well,
understands how they code it in.
yeah. So I mean, there's that. Um,
Mind you, I was a tech for Apple and I don't understand it.
I have an IT degree, and I don't. I've never. I was never. I can read C plus. I can read PHP. I can read it. I have a hard time. I could never write it myself. But they're all sold out. So if you want one of Trump's NFTs, they're all gone. Um, so, but the second thing he announced, which is one of the things I wish he fucking went first with. I couldn't find the one that he did. I can't find the video, but I have Mr. Trump Jr.'s. He actually put it on his Twitter. Um, so of what he wants to do, if he becomes president again, which is restoring free speech. So he wants to ban federal agencies from colluding to censor American citizens, ban taxpayer dollars from using labeled speech as mis or disinformation, fire every federal bureaucrat who has engaged in domestic censorship. That is one of the best things out of this. Immediately send preservation letters to Biden administration and big tech giants, or DOJ, to investigate all parties involved in
Oh,
online censorship regime and
so for those
prosecute
of
any.
you, so for those of you that don't know what a preservation letter is, when you work in tech, um, you get periodically, and I've gotten these before, letters from attorneys, like say they want to, someone's filing a lawsuit and they want to make sure that we don't delete or something doesn't auto delete. So they send preservation letters or notices.
Or like Hillary's emails
Yeah,
that
that you
magically
have
fucking.
to preserve any and all correspondence with a customer, any emails that you sent, any case notes that you write, everything. You have to preserve all of that so that it does not get deleted by anybody. And if it does, whoever the person that deleted it or the person that allowed it to get auto deleted can be held in contempt.
Revised Section 230 to drastically curtail big platforms, power, and restrict lawful speech. Stop federal funding for all nonprofits and academic programs engaged in censorship. Suspend federal dollars to any university that has engaged in censorship and support activities.
That's pretty
Oh man,
much
that's
all
going
of
to be a
them.
lot of the Ivy League schools too.
A lot of the state schools. A lot of the state schools.
Penn State's going to would get nailed.
Yeah,
Oh
just
my
about
god.
every college, because that's
Oh,
again,
yeah.
we went to college. We know college is basically ran by the left, and so they cater to the small vocal minority of the left there.
Enact criminal penalties for federal bureaucrats who partner with private entities to violate constitutional rights. Impose a 7-year cooling off period before former Intel and national security officials can work on big tech platforms.
Yeah, so you can't get fired from the FBI and then immediately go work for Twitter.
We'll get into that why in a moment. Pass digital bill of rights. That I can see that. I can see why. I mean, this right here.
So the digital bill of rights, I think, is a good thing. So here's the thing.
It's a good concept, yes.
It's a good concept. Depends how it's written. But here's the thing. One of the big arguments on the left on why Twitter could, and they're still saying this. I don't get it. They're seeing the collusion, but they're still saying that, well, Twitter's a private company and a private company can do what they want. Yes, a private company can say, I don't want you on my property. If I owned a warehouse and I can say,
Absolutely.
you guys are not allowed on my property. However, if you are a store and you're not breaking the law and you just kick people out because you don't like their point of view, then that's discrimination. It may not be discrimination on, skin, sex, whatever. It's still discrimination. Saying if you want to shop here, and that goes for, these stores that say, we don't allow concealed carry in our store. Or on the contrary, if there's a store that says you're only allowed to come in here if you carry a weapon, that's discrimination to the people that don't. You can put a sign up that says, hey, we encourage you to carry a weapon. We allow people to carry weapons. If you don't like it, go someplace else. That's not discriminating.
No.
But if they say you have to carry a firearm in order to enter our store, then you're discriminating against people that are against firearms. If you say you're not allowed to carry a firearm in our store, that's discriminating against the people that do carry. And Twitter and Facebook is the same thing. You can't say, you know, this person's free speech to say what they want, no matter how horrible it is okay. But this person's free speech just that disagrees with person A, person B's free speech to say things that are not illegal, not inciting violence, not doxing, they're not okay because we don't agree with them. Now, Elon Musk is removed his band Keith Olbermann and
a handful of
Kayla
leftists.
Lorenz, and because and I think there's a couple other people because they were doxing him.
Yep.
Now, doxing, yeah, that is a threat against a person. That's no different than me. Well, okay, Ryan lives right here. I want you guys all to go to his house and shoot it up.
I really should talk. We should, man. Monday's going to be interesting because speaking of similar, the insurrection rulings are supposed to drop on Monday.
You're right.
So
right.
And we'll get it because we're running into what's coming up here in a moment. But no, when previous CEO, what's his name? Jack Dorsey.
Jack Dorsey. Yep. Well, actually, it was Agabal or whatever.
No, I'm talking about when Dorsey was running it. So before Dorsey stepped down, Twitter was just the leftist run. I think what Elon Musk is doing with Twitter is one of the most fantastic things. He's cleaning it up. He's allowing people to have that. I don't care if you call it deplorable. The conversation that everybody wants. Doesn't matter if you're left, right, front, right, center. No one cares. It's a voice. Therefore, you can make a topic and then you can have that debate conversation. Granted, it's typing half the time, and sometimes conversation by typing versus speech, completely two different things. Right. I'm happy that he's going after their safety of children is being implemented, because that is fantastic, because they're getting those people off and not being able to use.
Pornhub did the same thing.
Yes. It's
as a way of combating child pornography or child exploitation, rather than saying, you know what, we're going to search through and we're going to find out of these million files, we're just going to take everybody that's not authenticated. We're going to take all their videos down.
Yep. I mean,
and if you want to put up video, get authenticated. Then if you put something up that's wrong, we know who you are.
And I'm sorry. Leave the Children Alone Act, I think, should be passed, because children are children. I mean, granted, it's a new age of children. Definitely not my age of children. Let's get this straight. Fucking Gen X and early millennials had a completely different childhood than what the fuck is these children are going on right now.
Have you scrolled through TikTok? Oh my God, I scrolled through TikTok and all of a sudden there's like a 12-year-old in Spanx bouncing her booty, and I'm just like, that's my son's age. I teach kids your age. Like, why are you okay? I'm not even.
And that is the one thing about TikTok that's good. You can just keep fucking scrolling, but no. But what I think what Twitter is doing, how Elon Musk is shifting Twitter is in the right direction
And the
as a
left
private company.
left is losing
Um,
their minds over it.
oh, and everyone's just the Twitter tiers. I think are the greatest because they're like, and the thing is like, are you waking up to the corruption that no one ever paid attention to because you got normalized? It was just normal.
Yeah.
And that's how everyone saw it. It was just normal when it wasn't normal. It was absolutely terrible. Um, I don't believe that's my stake on that.
Well, since we're on Twitter already, we might as well jump to them.
Sure. Twitter files.
Twitter files.
So episodes 4, 5, and 6 dropped from after our last show. And it all has everything to do with Trump, January 6th. No more Trump. But it's the concern of what they did is what is concerning. You have 4? Did you have
this
4?
is 4.
Okay. So part 4 was the removal of Donald Trump and the whole January 7th. So they used January 7th as the justification to take him off.
Yeah, basically they even had a little internal argument like he didn't do anything that's against our rules. And they went, it doesn't matter. We don't want him on here anyway.
But they used he incited violence during the insurrection. And we've already had this conversation. We've played the speech. Fuck, people were going into the Capitol and he was still on stage talking.
Right.
So I really would love to hear, because the judgment from the January 6th trial or persecution of guilty trying to
Kangaroo
find this
court?
man innocent.
Kangaroo court.
I want to call it night court.
I think that's coming back, isn't it?
It is. And the woman who plays Bernadette from The Big Bang Theory
That's right. Yes.
is going to be the daughter of the judge, the original judge from Night Court. So I am looking forward to this because they're bringing back a handful of the comedians, and I'm looking forward to it. So, where was that? So they were using January 6th as the violation, even though we all know how can you use that as a violation. So they kind of mark with part 2. They go back where they have blacklists, and it's basically they were just literally they were highlighting sections like on what is this? What part is this of part 4? Thread. It's
this is part 5.
Yeah, I'm still on 4. Scroll down. Right there. Nope. Up the second tab right there.
This one?
Yep. So right here, the only section that they're using out of this whole publication, mind you, that they're highlighting is now it is time for Silicon Valley companies to stop enabling the monstrous behavior and to go even further than having already permanently banning this man from their platforms and putting in place in policies to prevent technology from being used by the nation's leaders to fuel an insurrection. Think about what they just said there. They are asking for all of Silicon Valley, where all the big tech companies are living at, to ban one person right now.
And that's essentially what they did, because
That's exactly
here's
what
the,
they did.
here's the truth about the internet that not many people know. Amazon owns the internet.
Of course.
Amazon Web Service. Anything that you use probably uses Amazon Web Service. Parler was on Amazon Web Service. That's why Parler got banned. So
there was a back in 1995. Fuck it, I'm going to give you all a history lesson. There was two versions of the internet created. One that was free and one that was paid for. The one that was paid for had no viruses, had no hacking capabilities, was completely secure, 100%. Congress shut it down.
I did not know that.
The reason why is because they wanted to be able to have people to be able to, to be able to be on the internet free and clear and do whatever they want. And I understand that choice. But if you look at what's happened from then to now, kind of wish that bubble internet existed.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know,
and in
everyone
theory, right
talks
now,
about
it
the-
does exist, but it's just incorporated everybody.
right. And the thing is, you know, with the internet, you know, you hear people talking about the cloud service, iCloud, Google Cloud, this cloud, that cloud. As I try telling people, there is no such thing as an internet cloud. There is no cloud. It's just
It's internet,
other people's
there's
computers.
an internet hard frame bank.
Right. This is somebody. So
It's a
we run-
giant warehouse in Switzerland.
um,
I bullshit you not. I bullshit you not.
well,
There's an actual facility in Switzerland that
Well-
is nothing but considered the cloud.
well, take Apple's iCloud. All right.
Yeah.
It is, I think, 12 warehouses last I looked. It's probably bigger now in California. That's nothing
Oh,
but
yeah.
servers. Nothing.
I'm sorry, Tim Cook is not on my favorite.
Well, like I
people
say,
of
because
the-
I know Apple.
Yeah.
So, but a server is a computer. For those that don't know, when we talk about servers, a server is nothing more than a computer. You can turn your computer into a server. When we talk about the dark web, the reason that it's so hard to shut down the dark web is because those are not generally ran in big giant servers by a company like Google, Apple, Switzerland, whatever. Those are generally ran off of people's computers. So all you're doing when you're accessing a file on the dark web is you're literally accessing a file on somebody's computer in their basement or in their living room that they leave the computer on. If they shut down that computer, like a lot of people should or do, then that site goes down on the dark web. To where the server farms are designed so that a server is designed so that it almost never gets shut down.
Correct.
And then there's other things like distribution of files and all this to speed things up and stuff like that. But still, we're talking about there is no internet, there is no cloud. All it is you're accessing somebody else's computer. When we do this podcast, we have it on my computer. Ryan has it on his computer. It gets recorded locally. It gets a service called Riverside that probably uses their computers, their servers to host their platform. Then it gets from there, we download, we send, probably uses Amazon Web Service because they have the biggest server, the best prices, they have the fastest, their Amazon isn't just shopping. Amazon Web Service is primarily a bulk of the internet.
And this is why Linux will always be the backbone and still rulers of the world.
Because almost all them servers
If you
are
know how to
Linux.
write in Linux or do Linux, you don't have to use Amazon Web Service. There's a program called Assault Stack that does the same thing. It's just you have to.
I had a friend.
That's.
I had a friend that
Hmm?
made his own server out of a what are them called? Little ones. The Pi computers. The
Raspberry Pi.
Raspberry Pi server with, because he wanted to watch his movies on his phone but didn't want to fill up his phone, and he's like, I have unlimited bandwidth, so he just made his own little mini server, hooked up an external hard drive to it, and put server software on there so that he could access all of his movies no matter where he was at, as long as he had a cell signal or internet connection.
VMware, if you get Windows 2012 put on it, Server 2012, you can do it virtually.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
Mac has
Hell,
a
you don't even
free Mac has a free Mac server. I don't know if they still have it. It used to be in the Mac App Store that you could turn your Mac into a server itself, and you can configure it and all that stuff, and it just runs in the background while your computer's on.
And also, so episode 4 of the Twitter Files was to take down Donald Trump. So episode 5 of Twitter Files. Is that what's up?
Yeah.
5.
Yep. The Twitter Files Part 5, the removal of Trump from Twitter.
So, continuation of it. His last tweet before he got reinstated recently, the 75 million great Americans who voted for me again to make America great will have a giant voice for a long future. They will not be disrespected or treated unfairly in any way, shape, or form. So, again, this is where people. It's sad when people find out you vote for Trump, they're like, you become hated.
Yeah.
And then he goes out and says, for all those that who asked, I will not be going to the inauguration on January 20th. It's his choice. He doesn't have to be there. And then on number 7 on there, there's
left during the inauguration, didn't he?
He was packing. Yep.
Yeah.
He was on Marine One, and that's where he quote declassified information. By the time he made it to Mar-a-Lago, they had reclassified it. That is what they're using for the Mar-a-Lago thing. So that's interesting. And then what, number 7 on there, maybe because I'm from China. An employee said, employee on January 7th, I deeply understand how censorship can destroy a public conversation. So, and that is the one thing about everyone doesn't realize with the CCP with China, they censor everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where people forget that the United States, when we say we have freedom of speech, truly have freedom of speech, that is not able to go to other countries. And you can't badmouth the country and not have any consequences.
Right. You go into China and you start badmouthing the Chinese party, the
government.
Yeah. You're going to get arrested. Possibly caned. I don't know what else.
Put in a shop or put into
A Chinese
the
version of a
mines.
gulag. Yeah.
Oh God, that'd be a gulag you'll never return. Um, I mean, this goes into account of everything people were talking about, trying to figure out, and this is all internal documentation. This is all internal
This is all back and
conversations.
forth on there. Yeah. So if you look, one of the responses, January 7th, they said we started his tweets when they be to democracy. There's that phrase again, the Democrat phrase threat. And it seemed like that was yesterday. He clearly attempted to democratic system of government and of remorse. If this is not a clear reason, again, as an unhinged ruler attempting to democracy in the world, I'm not sure. Shrug.
So number 14, if you
So
scroll
this is-
down, yeah.
And so again, this is they're using their
All
own.
internal.
There's no objectivity to their reasoning.
So on the 14th one, they go, I don't see incitement of fear. What PC could it be trying to incite fear about? I mean, they asked that question like 4 times. Like, how is this inciting anything? There's
Right.
nothing inciting. And then they were like, "Oh, inciting because the election was stolen." At that time, people thought the election was stolen. Absolutely. And what was it? I think I talked about it when during the election. There is the vice president has the ability to decertify the election, and now Congress is trying to have that power removed from any vice president from here on out. That is dangerous because in any way, shape, or form, because how do you know? Because if you, speaking of a part of it, so a little off topic, Carrie Lake from Arizona got approval from a judge to have all the ballots reviewed.
Yep.
Because the winner of the supposed winner at this moment of Arizona was in the ballot room because she was the secretary at the time watching them count the ballots. I'm sorry if you were running for governor, and yes, you are technically the secretary, you would want to show good faith and not be anywhere near those ballots.
Right. Right. You know,
It
at the very least, it's an image issue.
The perception
Right.
looks like you could possibly be. Not saying you are, saying the perception of possibility is there.
Right.
And if you want that perception to not be there, don't be in the room.
Right.
So this is with Trump being removed is the perception of something that wasn't there, and the internal documents were all showing people that saw that there was no perception of him doing anything wrong. They were calling it out, and all of a sudden they were either fired or taken off that part of Twitter. So,
yep,
shameful. And then part 6. This is the scary part. There were 40 members of FBI agents or more, 80 agents.
Yep.
From the FBI actually embedded.
So there were more than 150 emails between the FBI and Twitter. Uh, Safety Chief Yoel Roth, 150. I don't even have 150 emails between me and my wife.
I have a shitload of emails, but I don't think I've ever responded to a single one of them.
So
No.
it says some are mundane, like San Francisco agent Elvis Chan wishing Roth a happy new year, along with a reminder to attend our quarterly call next week. So, but surprisingly high number are requests by the FBI for Twitter to take action on quote election misinformation, even involving from low follower accounts.
Oh yeah, they were knocking down joke tweets. Like the
I think
little
I saw
further
one
down.
in here. Yeah, there was one in here.
A
This
little
one.
further right there.
Yep, this one. Let me pull this up. I don't understand.
Proposed container ship of the worldwide recession.
And that had to be taken down. It was like, you know, a wooden boat dinghy thing with a cargo you know,
Container.
box
Yeah.
on top of it. Yeah. It was a joke tweet. But that was even all the way from this year. That was November 5th, 2022. That was a little over a month
Recent.
ago.
Yeah.
And the FBI was still telling them to take that down. Like,
Guarantee you they all don't work for Twitter anymore.
Yeah.
And then the multi-count abuse and bans. Like they reached out and just said, "Hey, these people need to go down."
And Twitter found reasons. It was basically so
It was
usually you have to have a crime in search of a person. So a crime happened and you investigate to find out who created the crime. What Twitter did is the FBI told them, "Hey, take this down. We don't like it." So then they search for a reason to take
they
them
hurt
down.
my feelings.
Yeah.
So the one you're on right there. So during the National Election Command Post, the NECP requested assistance from SF
San Francisco field office
regarding coordination with Twitter, especially when it has made aware that tweets by certain accounts may warranted additional action due to accounts being utilized to spread misinformation. See, this is why I think that disinformation board was up and going at Department of Homeland, and we just didn't find out about it until after the fact.
I think you're right on this. I mean, what you can see from here, look at this at, send to at FBI.gov, at FBI.gov. Like they CC'd, 20 different other FBI agents. With this. And, one of them is Billy Baldwin on here at Billy Baldwin. One of them is Janine Gray, Dr. Andrew Jackson. And mind you, again, this is less than a month ago that the FBI wanted these Twitter accounts.
I have a feeling the head of the FBI, since he's been having congressional hearings, I have a feeling he's going to be asked about all this.
Yeah,
I'm hoping.
He's
going
to deflect and say I have no knowledge or I'm not.
I am not aware of any of this.
Right. Or this is an ongoing investigation. Here's another one.
Yeah, the all blackout. Yeah.
And so yeah, temporary suspended for spam behaviors. They tried to find just about anything that they could.
They used any part of that terms of service.
Yes. Tangentially. terms of service, or that the person tangentially may have possibly almost done something for us to ban them.
So I mean, the freedom of speech was put in place for that reason. If the freedom of speech was being taken away, that's what the Second Amendment was for. That's why it was put in. And it's kind of makes you go,
It, you know, when what did Elon Musk say? He spent $44 billion not to buy a company, to buy a
He bought a crime scene.
crime scene.
Fucking bought a crime scene.
Yeah.
That is it.
And I think the FBI and Twitter had no idea that he was going to do this, so they felt they could send and do whatever they wanted. Even after he bought it, though, they were still sending stuff. What did they think, he was going to do nothing? Because when did he actually, it went through in October, wasn't it?
Something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think he took, I mean, like, he got his hands on it, like, and then going after it little by little by little. So,
Yep.
I don't know. And Adam, I mean, here's a quote from Adam Schiff. Like, I, out of all one of the few politicians, I absolutely 100% can't stand. Elon Musk calls himself a free speech absolutionist by justifying turning a blind eye to hatred and bigotry on Twitter. But when journalists report unfavorable news, they are banned without warning. The devotion and free speech is apparent, but not absolute. The hypocrisy is. Elon Musk replies, thankfully, lose your chairmanship very soon. Your brain is too small.
I love his comebacks.
The thing is, I mean, he is brilliant in his own mind. Sometimes he does things that make you go, I mean, because what? It wasn't that long ago he wanted to put chips in everybody's brain. That made me go,
Yeah. I think he still does
that's a
want to
no
do
for me. That's a
Link.
Yeah, that's a no for me, Ghost Rider. No, sorry.
I want to do it. I just don't want to be the beta tester. I want to be like the second or third wave of it.
If I know that there's not a way for someone to Wi-Fi hack my brain,
that's
possibly
why I
I
don't
may
want to be the
consider
beta
it.
tester. I would end up with a computer virus. So
Right?
all right. So when we're talking about like hearings and stuff like that, listen to this. All right. This is a lib just getting owned. This comes from courtesy of the, and you got to listen. It's great.
Is rhetoric on social media a problem and a threat to our democracy, Mr. Ward?
Yes, absolutely.
Mr. Siegel?
Yes.
Ms. Caraballo?
Yes.
Ms. Nomani?
Yes. Yes.
Another question I have, do you believe that rhetoric targeting officials with carrying out their constitutional duties is a threat to democracy? Mr. Siegel?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Only a few weeks after the attempted attack on a Supreme Court justice on June 25th, one of the witnesses, Alejandra Caraballo, tweeted out the following in response to a decision on abortion overturning Roe v. Wade, and I'll quote directly from the tweet: "The 6 justices who overturned Roe should never know peace again. It is our civic duty to accost them every time they're in public. They are pariahs. Since women don't have their rights, these justices should never have a peaceful moment in public again." I know something about being accosted. The night of January 5th, I was physically accosted on the streets of DC in Navy Yard by a constituent of mine. I fervently blamed rhetoric, social media, rhetoric at public events for being physically accosted. I carry a gun everywhere I go when I am in my district and I'm at home because I know personally that rhetoric has consequences. I've had my car keyed. I've had my house spray painted. I had someone trespass in my house as recently as August. I've been doxxed on social media about where I live. And I've had to add to security everywhere I go. Often, because I can't afford it, I have to carry my own firearm wherever I go. And Alejandra Caraballo also recently tweeted on a month ago that the Supreme Court, vested with the judicial power of the United States by our Constitution, stated they are not a legitimate court issuing decisions. And also the Supreme Court is an organ of the far right. So my last question today of Ms. Caraballo, do you stand by these comments, this kind of rhetoric on social media? And do you believe it's a threat to democracy?
Thank you, Representative, for the opportunity to clarify and provide context to my tweets.
I have a question, is it yes or no? Do you believe your rhetoric is a threat to democracy when you're calling to accost a branch of government, the Supreme Court?
I don't believe that's a correct characterization
What
of
you
my
tweeted, though.
statements.
Did you not tweet that? That you thought that the Supreme Court justices should be accosted?
What I'm
you
saying
tweet
is
that,
that
yes or
that is
no?
not an
Did you tweet
accurate characterization of my statements.
On June 8th of this year, a man was arrested near Justice Brett Kavanaugh's home in Maryland. He told law enforcement officers he wanted to kill a Supreme Court justice. He was found with a knife, with a pistol, 2 magazines, ammunition, pepper spray, zip ties, a hammer, crowbar, and duct tape.
Ms. Caraballo, on page 12 and 13 of your written testimony, you painted concerned parents as having been infiltrated by white nationalists and far-right militia groups, which played a significant role in school board protests. This has not actually been my experience with concerned parents. In your testimony, you wrote that in Loudoun County, Virginia, unfounded rumors that spread in local parent groups on Facebook about an alleged trans student sexually assaulting a girl in a bathroom led to a firestorm of several heated school board protests that descended into violence. But in fact, the perpetrator, it actually turned out, had committed 2 sexual assaults at 2 different Loudoun County schools in 2021 and was arrested on October 7th, 2021 by the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office. These weren't unfounded rumors, as you suggest. It actually turns out law enforcement had to act because a sexual assault occurred. So giving this, I'm assuming that until now you were unaware of what happened here, and you're going to update your testimony for the committee. Is that correct?
This rhetoric on social.
Man, she
I always
set
liked
that
how
hook better than a she set that hook better than a fisherman. She's like,
she sat there and said, well, that is not the context of what I, but you wrote this. What
Yeah.
more context?
now
I
I-
wanted to hear what her context was. I really wanted to hear it. Just so I can say she said it. I was like, well, that doesn't. Are you going to delete your tweet and repost what you were meant to say?
So again, you have memes of a boat carrying a cargo shipping container getting removed from Twitter. And yet you have that up there calling for people to assault the justices of the Supreme Court by the left. And that didn't get removed.
No, not at all.
And that's why I like seeing her squirm like that, because like I say, that congresswoman set that up hook, line, and sinker, went through everybody.
they
Do
were
you,
gonna
do
seal.
you agree? Do you agree? Do you agree? Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Now that you all agree and you agreed, here, I'm going to put your words up there.
I think we're going to see a lot of this with the change of the guard starting in January. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I think the last, well, we have two things left. One thing it should be quick and clear. We're going to give money to Africa now. I'm sorry. I don't think we should build. Africa has the ability to do it themselves.
Well, it's
They-
South Africa, so it's a country, not the continent of Africa.
Yeah, sorry, South.
Since
Man,
South Africa,
I want to
$8
tell you
billion
something.
to shut down coal plants.
I learned about South Africa. They are one of the most racist nations in the world. they are absolutely everyone made comment like, oh, the conservatives are racist. Technically, it was always the Democrats that have been the racist. They just found a new way of doing it.
They're projecting.
South Africa, no, they don't. They like the intergender marriage. Whites and blacks are separate. The segregation's real? And there's a whole lot more there that no one realizes because it doesn't make headway. And the fact that we're going to give them $8 billion to shut down their coal plants.
Yeah.
Why?
Again, it's because of the leftist fairy dust thought on energy. So shut down their coal plants so that they can develop hydrogen. A deal worth $2 billion also to build solar energy. Yeah. $600 million for high speed to connect Southeast Asia to Europe via Egypt and the Horn of Africa, and to help bring that connectivity along the way.
I see a lot of people being eaten by lions, beaten the shit out of by gorillas, trampled by elephants.
The thing with all of this, all this money, not just to South Africa or Angola, you're giving it to countries that are in major civil wars. And when I say major civil wars,
you're going to see guerrilla warfare at its finest because you're going to have all these tribes. They're going to fucking like, oh, I don't know why these people are here and what they're doing. I'm just going to fucking kill them and take their shit and move on.
But the thing is again, why are we giving away $8 billion of our own money when we're in a fucking recession? I don't care what they say about, oh, the recession's over. Oh, we lowered this. Oh, no, we're still in a fucking recession. Gas prices around me may have gone
Interest
down,
rates like
but
13.
Yeah.
They only went down because they've released most of the petroleum from the reserve.
Again,
We're almost out of fucking. Yes. It's at a 40-year low. It hasn't been this low since Carter was in fucking power.
and the
No, I
thing
think it was
is
more than that. But
and the thing is that's $8 billion that one could have been not spent and not gone against our deficit, or $8 billion that could have went to, I don't know, securing our borders, making infrastructure better so that we can, everyone talks about all this infrastructure stuff that he's doing. He hasn't done any infrastructure stuff. That's $8 billion that could have gotten domestic oil produced. That could have gotten $8 billion.
no, we're gonna get oil out of Venezuela.
Yeah. Another war-torn great piece of anyway. And then $8 billion that I'm sorry. All you environmentalists out there, you want you want cheap energy that is carbon neutral or carbon negative, nuclear. Nuclear is that.
All right. So
MCC investments are part of the work we're doing worldwide through the Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment. I propose this initiative together with the rest of the G7 to help fill the need for quality, high-standard infrastructure in Africa and in low-income and middle-income countries around the world. At the G7 meeting earlier this year, we announced our intention to collectively mobilize $600 billion in the next 5 years. Today's announcement join a portfolio of Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment projects already underway in Africa, including mobilizing $8 billion in public and private finance to help South Africa replace coal-fired power plants with renewable energy sources and develop cutting-edge energy solutions like clean hydrogen. A deal worth $2 billion to build solar energy projects in Angola. $600 million in high-speed communications cable that will connect Southeast Asia to Europe via Egypt and the Horn of Africa and help bring high-speed internet connectivity to countries all along the way. The bottom line is simple. Trade runs on reliable infrastructure to support and secure resilient supply chains. And improving Africa's infrastructure is essential to our vision of building a stronger global economy that can better withstand the kinds of shocks that we've seen in the past few years. Third, we're continuing to support innovation and entrepreneurship across Africa, investing in Africa's people. Developing human capital alongside physical infrastructure is another core aspect of the Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment. Today,
Is that it?
that was it.
I'm took my glasses off and I'm squinting because I'm wondering if you can see better when you don't open your eyes. God, that was driving me nuts. Looked like he was half asleep reading.
My question is,
I wonder
gonna
if
go
somebody, I wonder if
from-
he's lip reading or lip sync or something like that, someone else, because his eyes were closed the whole time.
so I'm looking at, I'm picturing the map. I'm going to pull it up. So he wants to go from Africa to Southeast Asia. He's got to go through the Indian Ocean, right?
Yes.
There are 3 islands in the Indian Ocean with tribes on them that eat people. You are not allowed to go to that island. They actually have a thing to where you are not allowed within so far because they throw spears at you.
I want to go now. I want to visit these islands,
You don't. No.
but I do
Like
now.
there was
Oh.
Christian like
Like-
people that went out to go serve God, and those people never fucking returned.
But I want to go now. Like, you tell me
They're
I can't
gonna
go,
eat
I
you.
want to go now.
No, they're gonna fucking eat you.
I want to see the human eating people.
So someone on Twitter with the video put on there, and they calculated every dollar amount. It is now totaled up, even though we're 8 billion to 1, now it's 55 billion.
Well, that's government math for you.
Oh yeah. Right now with the US debt, we're at $31 trillion in debt.
Don't look at that debt calculator. It's
I-
so depressing.
It is very fucking depressing.
It's so depressing, and it keeps getting more and more depressing by the millisecond when you watch it.
So what is sad is we were energy independent to the point to where we were probably going to start making money the next 4 years of Trump, and we probably would have brought
Yeah.
hurts feelings. So that is over with. So the last thing on our list before we get out of here is that the Democrats are now trying to bar President Trump, former President Trump, from running again because they don't know if the January 6th committee could actually stop him from running, because
Right.
everything that they've tried to get him on has always either gone to the Trump organization or has been found not guilty.
And what's funny is some of the statements in here using the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment says no one who has held government office and who engaged in insurrection or rebellion shall be able to hold federal office again. That was after the Civil War. That was
Mhm.
to stop people that were a part of the
Confederates.
Confederacy from holding office. The thing is one quote says, quote, Donald Trump very clearly engaged in insurrection on January 6, 2021 with the intention of overturning the lawful and fair election of the 2020 election. Cycling, I don't know, whoever this person is, stated, you don't get to lead government. You tried to destroy. Even Mitch McConnell admits that Trump bears responsibility. Okay.
I'm sorry, Mr. McConnell needs to get the fuck out of there himself.
Again, that's like saying if you didn't drive from your house today, then, and turn right, then that car that that ran the stop sign wouldn't have hit you. It's like it's an if then statement. It's a if not but statement. If not but you getting up this morning, then you wouldn't have been where you, whatever it is. It's an if not for statement.
Exactly.
That doesn't hold up as you intentionally. So, and basically they're saying, had he not had, there wouldn't have been an insurrection. Well, again, unless you show me proof that he specifically told people.
That is the other thing, is everyone's going to say, oh, he did it while he was at the White House in his little secure room. There's nothing proving any of that.
Right.
You had someone that, quote, heard from somebody else that heard that Trump hit his Secret Service agent trying to get the car to you from the back seat of the fucking car.
And the
Give me
Secret
a-
Service said that didn't happen.
Yeah.
The one that the person was talking about.
So everyone's like, oh, he was twice impeached. Okay, yes. A Democratic House impeached a Republican president. That is just saying that they believe that there was evidence of wrongdoing. When it got to the Senate,
He was not convicted.
he was acquitted. There was not found guilty. He was found not guilty. Move on.
Right.
Fucking, I mean,
They're
Bill
so
Clinton was
terrified
impeached
of
for
him
getting a
winning.
blowjob and lying about it.
Well, it was actually the lying that he got impeached for, not the blowjob itself. But the thing is they're so afraid of him that they pull out all these stops to try to get him so he can't run again. Why are they so afraid of him? That's what I want to know. Why are they so afraid? If they're so confident that they can beat him, because I don't think he'll live long enough or be senile long enough to run for a third time if he loses.
He can't
In
run for a
2024.
third time.
No, I mean, if he runs in 2024 and loses, I think he'll be too old to run in 2028.
Yeah, no.
I mean, the guy will be 79 in 2024.
Yeah. And also, granted, I think there needs to be a cutoff age.
Yeah, I do too.
You can't be like, when you run, you can't be 75 years old. I mean, yes. I mean, like the starting age, I think is what, 34,
30.
30
Yeah.
to run for president. Fine, great. I mean, I would think the ideal president would be like 40s and 50s. Sure. I
I'll
mean,
take 60s. Sure.
yeah, why not? Once you get that past that retirement age, why the fuck do you want to continue to work?
In such a high stress job at that.
That was the thing. Fucking
look
Trump didn't even take his paycheck. He donated it.
Oh, but the left says, oh, but he spent so much money on Secret Service and going golfing and all. So did every other president.
When Obama took office, he had his caravan retrofitted the way he wanted. He picked his Secret Service members. Every president has done that. If you look at the barricade, it has changed from president to president to president because the technology changes.
Mhm.
So, meh. Yes, Trump wanted to use his plane, but it was going to cost more to retrofit his plane than to just upgrade the current Air Force One. That's why the Trump plane sat in storage for the 4 years.
Yep.
And so we'll see what happens.
And don't forget, Air Force One is just a designation. It's not actually the plane itself.
Yeah.
It's just the designation on whichever plane the president is on. If the president has to get off that plane and get onto a Cessna, then that Cessna becomes Air Force One.
Well, I mean, when Marine One goes in the air, there's 3 of them, so you don't actually know which helicopter he's in. So,
Always go for the middle.
Yeah, go for the middle. Sure.
Isn't that what it is? Like if you get knocked and you see 3 people, punch
Always
for
go
the one in the middle.
Yeah. All right.
I think that was in Rocky. I think that was one of the Rocky movies where Rocky says, I see 3 of them. And his trainer goes, hit the one in the middle.
Hit the one in the middle. Yeah.
So,
but
all right.
I got nothing left.
All right. Let's throw just a couple videos in here.
Mock some people.
Yeah.
I'm all about mocking.
Well, it's not even this one isn't so much mocking people. This is
laughing at people. I'm laughing at people.
Let's see. We're not going to do that one because that's on the Twitter file. Talked about that. Okay. Two quick clips that we can just kind of say, yeah, we agree with this because I don't know. I haven't really been on Twitter much these past couple weeks. So it's wrestling season. I'm busy, and when I get home, I just want to fucking sleep and veg and stare at the TV mindlessly watching Moonshiners.
All right.
Talk about consent. If I go to a casino and I bet on roulette and it doesn't land on my number, I would lose my chips. I can't suddenly say, well, now that I've seen the outcome, I withdraw my consent. You don't get to withdraw consent from effects of an action you consented to. Like, you can consent to actions, but you can't consent to an action's foreseeable effects. Consent to sex is consent to pregnancy.
It's not wrong.
No. And people are coming up with the craziest. I should have screenshot some of the comments that people have in there. Like, well, you didn't consent to losing your money. Yeah, if you put your money down and you lose it.
If you're willingly knowing that you're going into a place called a casino,
right,
where you go to the side, you take your hard-earned cash and go, give me chips.
Right.
And they exchange cash for chips. And then you go over to roulette table and go, oh, money on black. You know damn well if it doesn't land on black, you lost all your goddamn money.
Right. Right. And then another person says, well, you have the consent to get up and walk away. Yes, but in this analogy, that means you have the consent to not sleep with another person. not I have the consent of, oh, I lost and now I want my money back. You can't say that. Just like, you know, I don't agree with abortion saying, oh, I got pregnant because I had consensual sex, knowing that pregnancy wasn't an potential outcome.
I didn't know when you jizzed inside me that I was going to get pregnant.
Right.
Did you not go to health class in high school or middle school?
Like, you know, or you know what else you can consent to? You can consent to make the guy wear a condom. Like, I was in college and
Try not to use the one that's always stuck in your wallet for 6 months because usually it thins out the rubber. That's terrible.
but I was in college. There was no way, even when the girl said she was on birth control, I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
Right?
You think I'm gonna believe you? No.
All right,
you protect
next.
yourself. So, all right, next one. Let's see here.
But an AR-15 won't be able to stop the government. Finally, something we agree on. We should all have tanks.
Short and
Yes.
sweet.
Yes. I agree to that one.
Yep, 100%. The
I
Second
will park a
Amendment
tank
says
in my
arms.
driveway.
The Second
No, I'll
Amendment,
put it in my front yard.
it says arms, and originally
Technically-
people were allowed.
Technically, if we really wanted to do this back, because was it the governor of the governor of New York was like, when they thought of the Second Amendment, they thought of muskets. Well, if we're gonna go back to the weapons, I want a howitzer, I want a hand-cranked Gatling gun, and I want a warship.
I want a blunderbuster.
Oh God, get a warship, everyone with blunderbusters on it.
yeah.
You just shove whatever you want in there, like broken glass.
Yeah, exactly.
A cannonball. Yeah, I'm not only gonna
Silverware,
fucking kill you.
I'm gonna kill you with a bunch of forks shooting out of my blunderbuss.
If I don't kill you, I'm gonna maim you, and you're gonna remember fucking with me.
But that means that the government can only use that stuff too against us.
No, man, they're gonna use F-18s and then machine guns. They say.
But an amendment. So if they're going to make us have to have muskets, they have to have muskets.
Sure.
I can get behind that if they want to go that route, but that means our military and everybody has to use muskets.
That's gonna be a sheer downgrade because there's no Kevlar back then either.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Phone books. I'm shoving phone books in my shirt.
And they all have to be 50 or 60 caliber lead balls, smooth bore, so they don't shoot straight.
You know how I watched a video of how they actually made musket balls, which was kind of awesome. They took a hot mold ball or piece of metal and dropped it from the highest point into the water. I was like, that's awesome. This like
Really?
gravity formed the ball.
See, I made musket balls for
Oh, I'm not saying that it
and
hasn't
I've done
changed,
it by
but
melting the actual lead, and then you pour it into a little form thing, you know, that it forms into, and then it gets off, and then you kind of cut the little tail of the lead.
yeah. I mean, that's probably changed, but they said a bit like watching a video, like, yeah, that's how they used to do. They used to drop the form so it would round and let gravity change it. I'm like, that's wild.
I'd have to watch that one to see, because that seems different. But I believe you. I'm just saying it just seems. I don't know.
It's weird, but I'm like, that's kind of cool. But
All right, I
but-
think we're done. You want me to hit the contact button?
yep, we're out.
See you guys.
Have a good night, everybody. This is Fire Talk Radio Podcast, and you can check us out on firetalkradio.com. You can email us at firetalknetwork@gmail.com. You can send us a voicemail at 814-380-9820. You can always check us out live on YouTube and Rumble. Hit the like and subscribe button to find out when we go live, and subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting and streaming platforms.